The car just arrived at the hotel and then we've realised that someone has taken my bag. Good morning and welcome back to the vlogs, where today we are going to be doing something pretty cool, as we're going to be taking the slow boat from Thailand all the way into Laos with a stop in Pakbeng. So the boat that we're going to be taking is a private slow boat. You can actually get a public one there. However, we've heard a lot of horror stories that it does get very, very busy. So we've opted for the slightly more expensive route this time, but we have saved a lot of money on the other days and we are going for the private tour. But before we get off, let's take a look at the sunrise for this morning, because we had a look yesterday and the sunset was behind us, but it is now the sunrise in front of us. And there we go. Look at those orange skies. So it's rising over the mountains over there, and you might actually be able to see the river sort of through the middle there. So if you look there, the river is literally there. But we're being picked up in just about 5 minutes. So I need to get ready and then we're off. So we are all packed and ready to go. We're getting a transfer from here to the dock. And there's actually quite a few other couples, I think, staying in this hotel too, who'll be going on the bus with us. The bus arrived at 7:20 on the dot, and as usual, Beth and I were the last one to the bus. It was a nice little comfy minibus, which took about 8 or 9 of us, I think it was, down to the border in Thailand. We then got to the border at Thailand, had to go through passport. They stamped us to say that we deported from the country, and then we travelled over the Friendship Bridge, where you can actually see the Mekong River, which looked absolutely stunning. As you were going over the bridge too, you could see when we crossed over from Thailand to Laos, as the flags on the bridge actually changed into the Lao flag. And now we are waiting at the passport security to go through, and it is a massive queue. I've just walked off to go and do the vlog, but you might be able to see it over in the distance. Over there, I'll get another video of it, but it is a huge queue now to get your visa done, which actually costs 40 baht, and then you get to go through. But there is actually an e-visa option if you do want to do the e-visa, and that was much quicker. There was no queue for that at all. However, when you get through, you're just gonna have to wait for everyone else to go through straight after. Also, make sure you've got some passport photos done. You probably can get it done at the passport control, but it's a lot easier if you've already got them done and you've brought them with you. Finally on the slow boat, and it took us about 3 hours to actually get here in the end. The queue took us about an hour and a half, and then we had to be transported from there to the docks, which is about 15-20 minutes, and now we have set off. It looks beautiful, I have to say. The views that you get of the mountains are stunning. In terms of the visa though, initially we had to pay 40 baht each. I'm not too sure what that was. It was almost like an admin charge that everyone had to pay. And then we moved over to the visa section, which was then $40 each. There is actually the option to do an e-visa, where 2 people did it and just literally walked straight through and they were fine. And it turns out, I think that cost them $35. So maybe it is cheaper doing it the e-visa way rather than doing the visa on the day. In terms of the photos, you do need a photo to actually get through on the visa. However, people that hadn't brought the photos did get fined 160 baht, which is probably about the same amount that we actually paid for the photos in the end. So maybe it's not really that worth it. However, we did get 4 photos, so maybe when we need to get into Vietnam with the visa, we can use one of those. We're not sure yet. In terms of paying with the dollar, it did have to be crisp too and flat. If there were any creases, they were literally just throwing it back at you and saying you had to pay in baht instead. And if you did want to pay in baht, it would cost 1,600, which is a lot worse than the 1,400 on a normal exchange rate. So now let's talk about the boat a little bit. In terms of the boat, it looks absolutely stunning. Beth will show you around. You'll get your own sort of pods. A few people did share, I noticed a couple of couples were sharing the pods. And you also do get free electricity. So there's a couple of plugs which Beth will show you in just a second. Also, the captain actually lives on the boat, which is quite interesting, him and his family. So here's the plugs just down here. But the captain and his family actually lives on this boat, and right at the back there's like a bed, TV and everything, which is quite funny. And you can actually go to the back and lie down if you want to. There's also fruit and stuff down there, which we'll check out later, and other food like crisps, drinks. You can get coffees, tea, all completely free. But if you do want like beers and soft drinks, and I don't know about some foods as well, I think you have to go and pay for that. But we're now just going to sit on here, chill out. I'm probably going to get my laptop out and do a little bit of editing, because I'm buzzing that there's a plug here, because I can catch up with some editing. And then we'll just take a look around at the scenes, go for lunch a bit later on, and I'll show you what we're eating. So on board, you're allowed any free fruit here. So you've got bananas and oranges. And then if you come down here, there's a little shop which is owned by the lady. You've got free coffees, teas, water. And then down in the back is where the bed is, which we'll go and take a look at later. But we've just got views of the Mekong River. Should we go down there now, Beth? Let's go down here. Let's go a bit further down. Oh, they're the toilets. And then we're moving over to the end of the boat to see what's down here on this side. Oh, it's just like a little seating area. You can lie out on the bench whilst admiring the views. We've just had 3 games of Uno and I won all 3, so 3-0 to me so far on the trip. Stopped off part way down the river. Not too sure why they have to stop, but it's something to do with the captains all have to stop here, even if you're going on the public bus or the private one. And then there were also these little kids and loads of families trying to sell us stuff as we arrived there too. They had fresh fruit like melon, a few sweet desserts like donuts and other things like that. Food has arrived. It's like buffet style, so everyone sort of goes up to the front and then picks out what they'd like. So we've got some rice, noodles, omelette. I've got 1 bit of fish to try, and if I like it I might go back and get some more. I'm worried about getting ill though, because I don't want to be on the boat and being sick. And then some vegetables too. Beth's also got a vegan selection, so she's got some potatoes from a like potato curry sort of thing, some more rice, noodles, veg, pretty much the exact same as what I've got. We'll give it a quick test now. We'll start off with the fish. That does taste nice. It's kind of like I don't even know how to explain what that's like, but it's nice fish. Tastes very fresh. Give the noodles a try too while we're here. Noodles are very nice, like stir-fry noodles, very tasty too. Obviously rice is going to taste nice, and I did really like the omelettes that I had the other day too, so really good selection of food. They've also got pineapple and melon, which they just brought over as well and put by the fruit bowl, so if you do want to get that after, you can have some of that. You may be able to see them over there panning for gold. They do that in the dry seasons when there's no monsoons. It is absolutely beautiful just going down the river, I have to say. Just looking at all of the land which is untouched over there, and then you're seeing all the fishing boats, you get to see all the farm animals, all the different... It's almost like quite tribal here. Unfortunately, there was just one issue though, that the electric sockets aren't working. But to be honest, it has made me, instead of doing all the editing on my laptop, I've been able to just literally watch the scenes go by. We might actually see some elephants later as well, bathing in the water, so fingers crossed we get to see that. But yeah, we're just going to enjoy the rest of the trip now, and I think we're getting off in about an hour to go and see a little village, but I'm not 100% sure what's happening. Just got off at one of the tribes. See all the little kids over there playing with the boats, and now Beth and I are heading up to the top with everyone else to go and see what's going on up there. Hey, that was a good one. Stopped off to see one of the tribes and everyone was giving them gifts. If we had known about it, we could have brought some stuff or maybe bought some stuff in the old town and brought it to the tribe because they're all really kind and they loved it when you gave them a gift too. And I got a little high five at the end from one of the little girls. But now we are back on the boat, probably going to be about another hour, an hour and a half. But we have bought ourselves a Somersby apple cider, which was 100 baht in total for the two. So that's literally for a £2.50-ish, so not bad at all. Cheers. We've arrived in Pakbeng and then we're now going to get a tuk-tuk hopefully to where we are staying tonight. So we've got the lowest tier of the hotels you could choose from, so I'm not sure how good this hotel is going to be. So the car just arrived at the hotel and then we've realised that someone has taken my bag. Thankfully it's a small place, so I'm having to currently walk back to the hotel because I've got an air tag, so it's telling me exactly where the bag is and go and collect it, and hopefully it'll still be all in one piece and nothing will be taken, but we'll have to see. Very unlucky, unfortunately. And the stress is over. Thankfully received the bag. What must have happened is the lorry driver must have taken it off and never put it back on. Some rave going on in there. Now I've got to walk back to the hotel where Beth's checking us in, and then hopefully everything should be fine with that. Seems a little bit more chaotic here in Laos, and it seems a little bit like everyone's a bit poorer too. So there's children constantly coming up to us asking us if we've got any food to give them, and so it's a lot more different to Thailand, which feels a little bit more westernised and organised. And here we are arriving at the hotel, or the slum for tonight, we'll have to find out. But yes, stress is over. Oh God, already looks like we're going to be slumming it tonight. And finally, we have arrived in the Villa Mekong guest house, and I have to say I've not been impressed so far with Laos. The boat trip was amazing though. Definitely take the slow boat down the Mekong River. Unfortunately, you have to stop off in Pakbeng, which is where we are right now, but the slow boat is 10 times better than the public boat. We saw the public boat, people couldn't sit down, it looked crammed, it looked horrible, but it is a lot more money, I'm guessing, to take the slow boat than the public boat. But let's take a look at the room now that we have arrived. Starting off with the beds, so we've opted for 2 twin beds because that was all that was left, so that's the only reason we've gone for that. I'm going to be on the right, Beth on the left. We've got a little bit of a desk area here with a stool, curtains in behind which aren't great to be honest, and then we've got tissues. These tissues, we're going to have to use them as toilet paper unfortunately. 2 small bottles of water. Now the door here, I've already had one person try and get in because they didn't know where they were going. It's utter carnage here right now. You can't lock the door, which isn't ideal, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's a hole literally down the side, so you can basically hear anyone which is outside of this room. Now into the bathroom. So not the best looking of bathrooms. We've got the toilet there. It's pretty dirty, which isn't ideal. We've got the bidet. The sink's just here. We get a mirror, thankfully, because I wasn't expecting to even get that at one point. And then the shower. So it's like a wet room here. So it's not the nicest of rooms that we have stayed in, and hopefully this will be one of the worst which we stay in, because we've got a few more in Laos, and it seems to be Laos that so far hasn't got the best of looking rooms, and they're quite expensive too, so it's not ideal. I don't know how much did we pay for the night here? Was it 26? Was it? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, the same as last night, £26, yet the room is 10 times worse than what we got last night. The slow boat was £230 between us, so I'll put up what it is in the Lao currency, although they don't really use the Lao currency, it's really hard to get, so you end up having to use dollar here in Lao. But definitely take the private slow boat instead of the public boat. But I'm just happy that I've got my bag. At one point I thought, where's it gone? We literally got off the bus, sat down, well, I didn't even sit down, we got off the bus, I turned around and was like, well, where's my bag gone? And opened up my Apple AirTag, so definitely taking AirTag, and it told me exactly where it was. I ran back and it was literally just sat on the side of the road. And one of the other guys basically said that he dragged some of the bags out and just left them on the side. So that's not exactly ideal, is it? Definitely putting a downer on Laos so far, but we're going to be going out for a meal very shortly. We're just going to have a quick shower just to get rid of the sweaty pits, and then we're going to have to go for food. But apparently there's not many restaurants here, which isn't ideal. So there's one main restaurant which is meant to be quite nice, and then if you can't go there, you've just got to go to the one next door, and it keeps going. So if we get out as early as possible, we've got more of a chance of getting some nice food. So I've just gone to the toilet, gone to wash my hands, and look at the tap. It's all over the shop. So you have to be careful when you're turning it off that it doesn't go everywhere. I really do feel like I am backpacking now, but hopefully it's just going to get better in Laos, otherwise this could be a bad one. Ready to go to the Samadhi restaurant now. I believe it's called something like that. But it just feels dirty in this room, so I don't think I'm going to go for a shower before we go out, and I'm going to have a shower after we come back after food. At least the sunset over the river makes it a little bit more worth it. We're having a nightmare. The food place that Beth was recommended is actually shut today, which isn't ideal. And then we went and tried another place and they said they've only got one stove, so we'd have to wait for ages. So we're now having a look, see if we can find somewhere else to eat. Turns out it wasn't closed. We have managed to find it, so hopefully we can get a table. But again, it looks very busy inside. To be fair, the restaurant does look quite nice, and there is quite a nice option for food too. So we're both going to order 2 separate curries, but both with tofu, so that we can have some of each other's. Looking at the menu, people have left some reviews too, which is quite cool. So you can read what different people have put. So like, to whoever is reading this, I hope you have a wonderful trip, full of love and light. Count your blessings, and may the wind always, I don't know, something from behind. That's what Mary's put in 2024, the 7th of March. So you get to see loads of different reviews too, which is quite cool. One of the dishes has arrived, which we believe is the tofu curry. So we're going to give it a try and see what we think. It smells actually really good and looks quite tasty too. But we'll grab, actually I'll use my spoon so we can grab a bit of rice to have with it. Rice with the tofu. Right, no tofu.
How far you are.
There we go.
Yeah, my joke was, I was like, all right, time to book a bus to Pakbeng this morning, like tomorrow. Like,
that's actually really nice.
I did it.
Potentially one of my favourite curries I've tried so far. So that is actually really tasty. It's a little bit korma-y, but slightly more tomatoey than a korma, but I have to say, good start. So we finished the first dish, and the second one came about 20 minutes, I think, after the first. It was quite a while, but we're going to give this one a try now. I don't know what this is. It's like some Lao dish. I'm not too sure what it is. But
This is so annoying. Like, I don't really want to be up for night watching it.
quite nice. Tastes very fresh. Definitely prefer the curry though out of the two. And we are back in the room. The food was actually really nice in the end. I actually enjoyed the curry a lot. The second one was nice too. It was a bit like a superfood salad. It did taste good, but it wasn't anywhere near as good as the curry and rice. But we are back in the room now. I feel like I slated it a little bit too much to begin with. And that was probably because I was stressed out with losing my bag, but it's not too bad, the room. I mean, it's only one night, it's pretty basic. Hopefully in Luang Prabang, it'll be slightly better, the room. We have booked again at a fairly cheap one, but like I was saying before, for some reason Laos seems a lot more expensive for what you get. One of my first impressions of Laos though is that I feel very sort of dusty and dirty on my arms and my legs, and Beth was saying when she was blowing her nose that it felt like dust was coming out of there too, which is not ideal. We also met some people from the UK though, so that was quite nice to meet a load of those on the boat. And then when we went for food earlier on too, we were speaking to some more travellers, some from America. There were some Canadians too, which we spoke to today. So it's been quite nice just catching up with some other people, hearing some of their stories. But that is going to be part 1 of the Mekong River trip. So if you did enjoy, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. And if you have any other questions because you're thinking of doing it, then do let me know down in that comment section below. And then in the next video, you will see part 2, where it is our trip from Pakbeng over to Luang Prabang. So I'll see you all in the next one.